Hey guys, welcome back to my garage. Hey, in this video, just a little bit of an update on the Clausing Kondia mill. I'm going to start removing the control and gutting the cabinet here. I found a buyer for the old Dynapath control, so its parts are going to live on. I sold the control and I sold the Servo Dynamics servo drives and the SEM servo motors off the machine all as a package. So by doing that, that helped put money towards the conversion. And what I decided to use is an Acorn step and direction motion controller, and I'm going to use the DMM Technologies AC servos with this thing. And I think I previously mentioned, because this thing does not have a power drawbar or a drawbar at all, it has a quick change, Ericsson quick change tool holder on it. I'm going to fit it with a spindle encoder, and might even get probing working on this thing as well. So I'll be putting a VFD in here, the Centroid ACORN motion controller, and the DMM Technologies DYN4 AC servo drives. I will use the ZRI for homing the machine as well, so it's as precise a homing as it was previously. It uses the index pulse on the servo motors to actually help home it precisely after it hits the limit switches. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing all gutted out, and I'll bring you back shortly. Okay guys, got most everything out of it now. I'm just going to pull the back panel, and then I'm going to disconnect the conduits with the servo motor cables in them, and then I'll get the servo motors off. So it's pretty cleaned up, and then I'm going to clean up this mess here. And I'm going to take the back panel out. I got a new sheet of aluminum, and I'm going to copy the mounting holes onto that new sheet of aluminum, and then I can start populating the new back panel. Okay, on the Kondia mill, the X-axis servo motors under this cover and the Y-axis servo motors under this cover. So I've got to take these off. Okay. And there we go. Pretty interesting. There's our switch. Little switch. Hopefully those are still good. And then there's our X-axis servo. I'll go ahead and work on getting the Y-axis off. It's kind of a nice touch to cover it all up. Alright, to get the motors themselves off, I got to take these covers off. Okay, success on that one. We'll do the same thing to Y.
Get it pulled apart. Seal tight off of it as well.
Try and keep the wires going through straight. Okay, that's that one. Guys, the Y-axis is going to be the same as removing the X. I have to pull the pulley off, pull the flange off, and then the motor will come out. So I'm not going to bore you with that one. Alright, I got the Y-axis motor out, but in looking at this, the way the motor mounts, I may have a bit of a challenge. This plate bolts to the motor, and the motors are round, flanged. And you'll see the flanges on this side. Well, on the back side, it's a round cutout for the motor. And I believe the DMM, I don't have the motors yet, but those DMMs have a flange fixed to them. I don't think I can take them off like I did these. So it will be quite interesting to see what I'm going to have to do to make this work. So anyway, until the motors get here, on with the Z-axis. Okay, let's pull the cover on the Z. When I'm done here, I'll be putting all these covers and screws back on so they don't get lost. Like I said, right now I'm in the process of waiting for the motors. Okay. Now this one has the flange on the outside, which is a little more traditional, so I think I'll be okay there. I haven't taken a We're going to take the operator's panel apart. We're going to take this off and this off the cabinet so they can be shipped to the new owner. There's two screws on the back and there's a big clamshell that opens. Okay, I'd really like to find a way to salvage the cables, but there are connectors on the end, so I have to see whether or not I can get the connectors snaked up through the cabinet here. So I'm going to start with the loose wires first, and then I'll concentrate on the cable last. Don't really see being able to take this connector off. It's got a big, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a big connector right here going onto this board, and there's a small hole in the cabinet, so I just don't see it going through there. It must, I'll give it another whirl here in a minute, but for now I'm going to try and do what I can do to get things apart. At least it's connectorized, and the new owner probably has that connector. That's the cable I was talking about right there. That's the cable I was talking about, this connector. Very oddly, I'm finding it kind of hard to get the loose wires through. Not sure why there's such a fuss to get them through, other than there's an elbow on that kind of holds things here. Alright, could have been this right here. Okay, so it's everything but that large connector. I'm gonna let's see if there's any chance of getting it through one way or the other. Yeah, I think I have to take the connector apart to do it. See if I can do that on this end. What I'm going to do is take this shell off so I could sneak it through the hole. I have no use for the cable, so the new owner, he's got one of these Kondia mills, I believe. This way he'll have spare cables. So I'm going to try and send as much as I can. Yeah, I think that's gonna do right there. So let's see. There we go. Got it out. Put that shell back together. Okay, got the shell back on. Alright, now I'm not sure. Try to take a look at this and figure out if I can take this apart without cutting wires, because there's a loom in here going up to the upper half and then down to all these switches. Started to wonder if it'd be better just to send this thing all put together instead of in its cabinet rather than trying to take it apart. It'll add weight to it, but then it'll be assembled, you know, for the most part. See how big this is going to be. Yeah, I think that's probably the better way to do it. Just, I'll ship this thing in its cabinet just like it is. It'll be protected. Won't be bouncing around, so forth. The monitor's pretty secure in there, so I think that's probably the route to go. So, I'm gonna fight taking these 4 bolts off, and then that'll be that. That should be the complete disassembly of the control. Stripped off the Clausing Kondia mill. In the next video, hopefully we'll be working on the back panel once the motors and drives show up. Talk to you guys soon.